Here's my hoop house, and the date is October 14th, 2015. And this is the second year with my hoop house. And I'm going to take a look inside and see how we're doing things. This year I removed the scissor doors and tightened up the gables. And I expect that it will be much tighter this winter and let in a little less cold. We're in zone 5. And so this tells you pretty much where we're at. The trees are pretty nice this time of year. And it's going to give you a little view of my asparagus beds. First year from seed, and not bad. And honeyberry bushes, which I tried to grow and put an awful lot of TLC in them, but they didn't do so great. But they're still doing good. I'm going to mulch them down and hope that next year brings me a little more. My garlic beds that aren't planted yet, I should be planting them this week sometime, and see how those come out. It'll be my first year for planting garlic. This is some of the remnants of the field that I harvested this year. It's all tilled under, and this is another asparagus bed right here, and flower bed to make the missus happy. Oh, there's a couple little flowers still there. Look at that. Wow, fantastic. All right, we're going to take a look inside the hoop house, and before we do, I'm going to take a look on the other side and take a look at, I have 2 cold frame boxes here that are going to be being utilized again this winter. They did pretty well last year. I've got an onion bed. There's an onion bed right there. Quite a few onions still in it. And I have a Swiss chard bed here. And let me see, that one's got quite a bit in it as well. Got collard greens, and I still have some bell peppers. I just picked the last of the bell peppers right there. And they were under cover, Agribon 19. I just pulled them out. Got some carrots yet to harvest. I'm going to leave them in the ground till mid-November. There's my attempt at growing leeks this year. I grew a few fairly good sized ones, maybe 1 inch around. But they didn't come out quite as good as I wanted them to. These are more collards. And these are the last of the bells here. At this late a date, I'm impressed with how long they lasted. I prepared some area for next spring so that I have a little less harder time getting things going, because it's a little wet here in this area. This is a look at my farm, looking eastbound. East-southeast, basically. And anyways, and this is just kind of look around my home, my little farm that I got going on here. So this is the hoop house. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to take a look at what's growing right now, and hopefully I got things started early enough so that this year we can have a green harvest throughout the winter. The current temperature in here in this hoop house, about 20 degrees hotter than it is outside. It's maybe 45 degrees, maybe 65 degrees in here. Looks to be around 65, 66 degrees, something like that. 66 or so. Anyways, here's some habaneros I transferred from outside to inside. And I'm just going to walk down here. There's some Swiss chard I brought in from outside back to inside. Some beets. More peppermint Swiss chard, some leeks transferred from outside, and more Swiss chard. Now I'm leaving these tomatoes in. I'm still yielding tomatoes, and they're turning red, and I'm hoping to get another 2 weeks out of them. I'm pushing it as hard as I can. Here's some chili peppers I grew late in the season, and I have a few that are yielding, as you can see right there. And this late date in August, I even have some flowering. And so I planted them late, and hopefully I get a few chilies before they frost out. Here's some onions and some more little onions, some more beets, some kohlrabi, some blue kohlrabi and Cossack kohlrabi, some carrots, more leeks, some red boar kale, and some more tomatoes. As you can see, the tomatoes are still quite large, and hopefully they'll turn red or close to it before I have to take them down. I'm going to see if they can ripen right here in the hoop house. So the tomatoes are still yielding mid-October, which is a fantastic thing. And over here I have my winter greens, coming in some more Swiss chard, a bed of Mizuna, here's some Toscano kale, here's some Claytonia, it's quite small, about an inch or so, and here's some tatsoi, very small and is skipped, and this is direct seed, and here's some lettuce, direct seed with some chivas on the side. So this is what I do. I heat on a heat mat and then try to put it in with a little tool I made. Try to put it in the ground here. So I have some arugula to the left and some lettuce, red lettuce to the right. I have some red kitten spinach. I have some chard on the left and some nabakans just starting to come up. I don't know if you can see that, but just starting to pop through the soil. They're taking a little longer than I thought. And I have some spinach here, some Savoyed spinach growing in that pan. I'm going to start planting these in the beds here. I got them on a heat mat. I haven't had them. I had them unplugged for probably another week. They're probably a couple weeks old. These are planted on 923, and they're a good inch and a half or so. So let me see if I can give you a shot kind of the whole hoop house from the back side here as I come in the door. So that's kind of my layout on the hoop house. And I made the hoops by hand, basically. Bought a bender and covered it. I had a 10 by 10, then I added 14 more feet to it. I thought it was fairly successful through the winter. I had primarily 3 months that weren't very good and productive. I'd say mid-December to mid-February in zone 5 here wasn't very productive, but it was still better than not having one by a long shot, because it extended my season by 2 months or so, probably on both ends of the spectrum. So this is just a little brief introduction from a Maine farmer, and I'm going to post this on YouTube and just start a little to give people some information on hoop house and how you can grow it in zone 5 through the winter and what might be successful. I'd like to update it maybe periodically, monthly, to see how things are lasting in this kind of weather, and should be interesting. So I'm going to sign off for now, and feel free to leave any comments, anything that you could add. Pretty much everything in here is grown organically, and no pesticides are used. Primarily neem oil is probably as strong as anything I use for any bugs that I have in here. I haven't had too many, but occasionally I do. The brassicas seem to be, some little green worm seems to like these little babies here, the collards. So I gotta try to figure out what these little things are, but I hit them with some neem oil and it seems like it drove them away for a little while. So, alright, signing out for now, and feel free to leave comments. I'm going to be putting this stuff under Agribon, one more layer, in about less than a month away. Take care, YouTubers.